Hey guys, a very welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. The UAE is evolving quickly with industries like tech, healthcare, and e-commerce booming like never before. You've seen it on the streets, but with all this growth, what does it mean for residents? Is it all progress or are there hidden challenges? Helping us to get to the bottom of it, we have Sayli, Salvi, and Sahil from Decisive Zone back in studio. It's Tuesday morning. Welcome to the show.
Nice to be back here. Thank you for having us back.
Love to get the information from you guys. So we're going to kick it off. What are the most common business activities you guys are seeing in the UAE?
So when we talk about business activities, the commonly that people go for, one of would be general trading. Another one, when we look at real estate, even the market is booming. So a lot of people prefer to have real estate businesses here. And third, obviously, it would be tourism.
Yeah. So trading, real estate, and tourism. And are those, in your opinion, the key sectors that are booming right now?
There are a few more, but yeah, these ones are the ones that like people prefer to go for.
So let's start off with tourism then. How does the UAE keep evolving? Like we know the numbers are growing, but what's driving that growth?
Lifestyle. I mean, look at it. Yeah, the lifestyle is the key factor.
For tourism?
Yes, exactly. Not just tourism. If you see, there are so many events happening. You talk about events that are for business purpose or just for leisure enjoyment. Like if you want to travel, so many things are happening around. So why wouldn't people come to Dubai?
True, but I always think we talk about the benefits of living here.
Yeah.
But what are specific reasons that tourism is growing?
Like I told you, the events that are happening. Apart from that, what government is doing is like the visas also, which are very flexible. If someone wants to have a like short stay, they can stay here for 30 days. If someone wants to stay for like 3 months, you have options like 90 days visa also, which makes it very easy for people to come and go whenever they want.
And do you think events such as Expo, do you think, like obviously at the time it was everything and there was so many people coming, do you think we're still reaping the benefits from that? Is that possible?
It has, because it's led to a lot of people during the expo. They saw what Dubai was, right? And at that point, it was still growing, because it still wasn't technically ready for the expo. Because I mean, obviously there was a certain epidemic that had been spread at the time, and that sort of put a speed brake into all kind of development, into growth, and all of that. So once people did come and see the expo and they saw, wow, there's more to Dubai, just more than just the bright lights and big city. There's also culture, there's government benefits that are being provided, etc. So once people have seen all that, then they always want to come back for a second, because they want to see what else is there. And then they start hearing about, okay, the real estate market's booming, business is good, tax-free, etc., etc. So the first time they sort of got a taste of it, and now they really want to come and double down on it.
Right. It's that typical come for 2 years, stay for 10, come for 30 days, stay for my life. And I just think it's just
30 days.
But it's just consistent. And if we jump from tourism into trade and e-commerce, like that is also a booming industry, which we discussed last week.
Yeah.
However, you have a lot of smaller businesses here, and I'm wondering, in your expertise, how can small businesses compete with a booming e-commerce trade?
What I feel is like the time is gone where they stick to the traditional methods, like having your own website and sticking to it, whereas now they should be more focusing about listing their products on different platforms. I mean, so many e-commerce websites are there where you can compare the price, you can see which product is good, the benefits, the reviews, everything is clear. So I think like people need to be out there to have the visibility.
And the access to having putting yourself out there is crazy here, because there's a lot of, I had a friend of mine, I spoke to her yesterday. She's moving over from Australia with her kid, and she's got a well-established business and she sells sunscreen. Products, completely verified, certified, all that. But for her, it's a case of her case is that, Sahil, the Australian market's saturated. I can't grow anymore. And it's only been 3 years that I've been doing this business. I supply wholesale, I supply to hotels, etc., etc. But when we actually see that, and her sort of ideology was, I want to move to Dubai because that would connect. I already have the Australian market. If I move my center to Dubai, then I can also expand into Europe. I can expand into the African markets, into the American markets, etc. So that sort of thing is also driving a lot of people to come back into the country, and that sort of example happens every day.
That's so interesting that people are using Dubai as a hub. So in that case, or similar examples, what would the biggest question that those people have? What is the key concern that they're saying, I have a successful business here, I want to bring it to Dubai, but what about this?
It's a logistical challenge for them, because the thing is that, like I said, she's moving her child over. Child's 3 years old. So she has to make sure the level of education is good, because obviously she's willing to pay for it. You know, you can't just throw money at a problem and make it disappear, because you have to make sure that, you know, you actually find a proper solution to the problem, right? She's making sure her school is taken care of, her housing is taken care of, and she's living in a place where she wants to actually, you know, enjoy and reap the sort of benefits of her hard work. And then she wants to also live in Dubai because that would help expand business. So it takes care of sort of two birds, one stone sort of situation, you know. And I think that's one of the that's one of the main factors, like that main questions that come into people's heads, because they already know how to do business, right? It's just a case of you got to just move a couple of things around, and I mean move your whole life about. But like apart from that, in terms of business, it's just a quick, you know, pick it up, place it down here, and let us take care of the, you know, the sort of hassle behind it.
Interesting. Can you share, before we jump into tech, can you share any maybe success stories or businesses that you've been inspired by that have done something similar? I'm always interested, and I know our viewers are always interested in, you know, specific cases of businesses that you've started, you know, whether it's sun cream or I don't know what. So can you share your favorite kind of success stories there?
I mean, we've done n number of real estate businesses, licenses, all of that. There's these kind of products that really come up. I had another friend of mine, him and his wife sold their house, sold all of their belongings in the Netherlands, and they're content creators, right? So their entire idea is that we're going to sell everything that we own, we're going to put that money into ourselves and travel the world and use that as content generation. So their Instagram page is always full of, oh, we went to this, and every week I see them, there's a new post, and they're in another random corner of the world, and I'm just like, bro, you would, how, like, what's going on? But that's their business.
That's their bread and butter.
You know what I mean? Like, that's how they make money. So there's so many cases. There's so many cases. I mean, apart from the whole traditional, you know, financial platforms and institutions and trading businesses, etc. But like these kind of stories is what like really, you know, provide insight, because there's people who are taking drastic measures into living their life, but then they've sort of built their business around their life, not build their life around their business, because they're not living to work, they're working to live. And that's the way it should be, you know, ideally. I mean, hope we can make it, but like, yeah.
It is the small time hustles that we love. But let's jump into tech startups in the UAE, such as those in AI, fintech, and blockchain. So what areas of technology do you think will have the biggest impact on daily life in the coming years?
I think all of it combined is going to be a behemoth in terms of, that's a big word, in terms of but in terms of how business and how daily life is going to be impacted, it's all going to come together and sort of, because I mean, we spoke about the digital payment wallet that they're integrating with our Emirates ID, right? Now the government wants to base that sort of the tech behind it and the sort of building blocks. They want to make it, you know, through AI, and then direct it through blockchain, and then use that sort of technology to deliver the service. You know what I mean? So like it's going to all link up at various points in the procedure. But as long as it makes our life better, I'm okay with it.
True, but I think as an audience, we hear fintech, AI, blockchain, and we think, okay, these are all big words, but will it affect our jobs? Is it going to affect us drastically in our daily lives in the short term? I know in 20, 30, 40 years, I'm sure we'll all have flying cars. I don't know. But in the short term...
We've seen the Jetsons, right?
We were talking about the Jetsons recently. The Jetsons knew what's up back from the 60s. But today, should I be concerned about my job? Should anyone watching, is AI taking our jobs, or how will it really impact in the short term?
I mean, it depends on the industry. Because it's not a one size fits all, right? You have something like trading, for example. I'm talking about commodities like physical product, you know, buying and selling. In terms of trading, I don't think a sales approach can be done with something like an AI. It can be an assistive tool. It could be something that, you know, a chatbot it won't replace someone, but it would sort of assist people, right? In that sort of a scenario, I don't think it would impact people's jobs as much. But if you talk about things like the digital space, like marketing, for example, there's so many, AI tools out there that help you generate content, generate creatives for your social media, and they do it like that. You know what I mean? So like over time, it has to progress into that direction. But I mean, I don't know how far along we are on that journey. It's just a case that it's a wait and watch at this point.
And do you see many AI companies come to you for visa setup?
Absolutely, they're coming through for blockchain. They're coming through for visa for various things, and then the more you speak to these people and you sort of expand your horizons, that's how much you see that. Oh, I thought blockchain was just that, but it's also all of that. You know what I mean? So like, the more I speak to these people, I learn so much, and that's helping me, increase my knowledge at the same time. Because even for me at the beginning, I was like, okay, fintech means financial technology. Fine, okay. But then once you dive into it, then you're like, oh, it has so many levels and it's deeper than just, that. So yeah, there are a lot of companies that are moving here because, and I don't know if I should get too specific, but out of Eastern Europe, for example, there used to be a case where Latvia and Estonia were primary sort of targets for these kind of companies because they had easy setup, it was really fast, and then there was no tax on it. But then recently, I mean, due to political situations or whatever the case may be, they have been levied about a 17 or a 15% tax, depending on which country you're in. So all of those companies are trying to move to Dubai now because they're relatively close. They've come all the way from, let's say, the States or other parts of Europe or whatever. But then they obviously see that Dubai has access to this kind of a setup and this kind of logistic to get this business moved over here. So that's the reason why they're targeting Dubai now.
We're shifting from industry to industry, sector to sector, but if, for example, someone's going to bet on an upcoming industry, what industry should they bet on?
I'm not a betting man, just FYI.
Which upcoming industry do you see has the most people coming through the door asking questions about?
I would say something like e-commerce, maybe. I mean, during COVID, there was a huge influx in drop shipping, and everyone thought they could do it. But people who did get into it really early, they had the sort of first mover advantage. So that's the reason why they were able to go really far with it. But in terms of something that I would put money on, to be honest with you, I would put it in face-to-face business. I mean, maybe that's just because I like having a conversation with someone, and I like the thrill of the sale and all of that. But yeah, I think that's where it's really at, because that's something that you cannot take away. You cannot take away a physical interaction out of having a sale. You can go, if let's say you want to buy a house, you can go on a certain platform. I don't want to name names. A certain green one, a certain orange one, a certain red one, and all of that. But you can do all of that, but you're still never going to trust buying a house like that. You want to go see it. You want to hold the handle. You want to see how smooth the key is. You know what I mean? So you want that physical interaction, that tangible asset. So that's the sort of thing. Like, you cannot replace that physical sale. You cannot replace it. I think that's where my money's at. I'm going all in on that one.
Yeah. And what about you?
I would agree to what Sahil said, but adding to it, I feel like e-commerce is something which is going to boom a lot. Earlier, we discussed on the same thing last time, and I feel the growth is going to be tremendous because of the options, like you talk about payment option, the platforms that are available, and much more things.
And with all of these bets, we know that the UAE is putting a big focus on clean energy. Do you think that will directly affect any specific industry? Do you think that there need to be more investment? So, for example, if I had an e-commerce platform of my own and I was shipping from other countries, will there be any regulation changes that I would need to take note of in any industry because of the focus that they're putting on sustainability and clean energy?
I mean, directly in the UAE, you could talk about the manufacturing industry because things like the Jebel Ali Free Zone, they have a lot of manufacturing units. You have the Sharjah Airport Free Zone where there's a lot of manufacturing units. And the government is supporting people who want to use clean energy, who want to maybe put solar panels for their electricity or for whatever purpose. And the government is supporting that. So if that is your sort of bread and butter and that's where you start off, if you're okay with the sort of investment that you have to make initially, the government is more than happy to support you. They'll provide a grid system. They'll do all of that. But in terms of directly impacting the UAE or UAE-based businesses, apart from something like this, logistics is key, right? Because moving product from point A to point B is massive, and then the international scale, they do have carbon credits. So the cleaner your delivery system is, the logistic company benefits out of that. So if you are a logistics company based in Dubai, I think that would be one thing that would directly impact you. Apart from that, I don't think there's much direct impact to UAE-based businesses apart from, you know, maybe the manufacturing sector, to be honest.
We've touched on a number of trade sectors here, and before you leave us, if I want to start a business in any sector, is there any limitations on what Decisive Zone can do to help me? Is there any business I can't start with you guys?
So see, when you talk about limitation, it is very specific regarding any activity that you pick. So if you tell me that you want to get into garments trading, then the restrictions that you would be having would be way different than if you're planning to set up a real estate business. Mm-hmm. So what kind of business are you planning to start?
Well, it could be in oil. It could be maybe I want to start a real estate company. Maybe I want to rival iPhone. Is there any kind of sector that we can't touch here in the UAE?
No, you can. There's nothing that's off limits, right? Because it's just a case of knowing what you want, A, and B, then leaving it to us to get it done for you.
Okay.
And that's about it. I mean, no, honestly speaking, there's not much in terms of a limitation. There's different authorities for different kinds of products and services, and you want to make the next iPhone? Please be my guest. I'll support you on that.
I love that positive energy. I plan to. Guys, I love that spirit and that dream. If you want to start a business today, these are the guys to talk to. How can they get in touch?
Google us. Instagram, Decisive Zone. Google us, decisivezone.ae. We're always live on live chat. You can always DM us. And yeah.
The guys from Decisive Zone, that brings us to the end of our talk, Visa Talks with Decisive Zone. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Have a lovely day, and we'll be back with you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Bye-bye.